The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, my name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. And today, I got a very special guest, content creator, Shawn Kreckie. Shawn.
Hey, Leo, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, please, thank you for coming on, really.
I'm honored, thank you.
You know, you got your hands in a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you grew up right outside of Boston, Boston pretty much.
Well, to Boston people, they'd be upset if I said I grew up in Boston. So, no, I definitely didn't. I grew up in Braintree, which is about 15 minutes south of Boston. I was born in Dorchester, but grew up till I, lived till I was 4 in North Quincy.
Yep.
Moved to Braintree till I was about 24 years old.
All right. He told me that earlier too, guys.
No, we good.
No, but what really interests me is how, like I said, you have your hands in a lot of things.
Yes.
Could you tell us how you got started on being like a content creator, and tell us some of the things you do?
So I used to do, it all stems from like wrestling and music, like even back in the day, I took my camera out when I was a kid and used to like make my own, I'd impersonate different wrestlers and take the camera on my dad's VHS, and I'd put the towel on my head and beat me if you can, survive if I let you, try to be like Taz, whoever, Bret Hart, pull out a Canadian accent. But, and then
awesome.
We'd film wrestling downstairs and come up with our own characters. I'd have, I took video class the first year. They offered it at my high school. And I just always had a thing for like just being with the camera because I'd like to capture magical moments forever because I'd always like to just love to do that. I don't know.
Right.
And with the content creation thing, it became like once the internet started like booming, like I would say like around 2012, I noticed a big difference in like how the internet was being a big booster for people who are trying to do things in their life that aren't of the 9-to-5 genre.
Right.
And so I started to like study a little bit. I started filming like, little vlogs here and there at the music studios I'd go to, started chopping up little things here and there on like Windows Media Player and like just trying to learn my way around. And one thing leads to another. I get my own camera. And I met a guy who was pretty like well-versed in cameras. He saw me at a show taking pictures with like this Canon T6i Rebel that I had. And he's like, "You're only taking pictures with that thing? You can be making money doing videos for video."
Wow.
I said, well, so all right. So I started learning and first rap video. I do a lot of rap videos because I love rap music. I grew up on rap music. Not to say I don't love other music, but hip hop and rap was like my main upbringing, like Snoop Doggy Dogg and like stuff like that. It wasn't about what they were saying. It was about how it sounded to me. And what they would do is like create like visual movies for me. So like they would inspire me too, because I'd see these guys creating content and I'd just be like, all right, if they can do it, I know I can do it. Right. And it's not been so easy. It's not been so easy. But it's where I follow my heart with my work. And like if my heart isn't in it, I don't find myself doing it.
Right.
And that's why I really, right now, I have my hands in music. I have my hands in professional wrestling.
Yep.
I have my hands in like taking photos of my friends and they need like, portraits for their job or their LinkedIn or whatever.
Right.
Help them out with that. And it's just about like, really at the end of the day, it's just trying to keep busy, stay happy and like be progressive with like what I'm doing and not making a waste of time.
Right.
Because I wasted a lot of time back in my day. Like, not that it's not my day still, but in my in my 20s, I wasted a lot of time and bad decisions, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's like now I'm trying to like, I'm definitely not the rabbit in the race. Let's just say that.
Right. Nice. All right. So, like, do you have any videos you're doing right now? Like any music videos that you've been doing like this week or anything coming up?
I actually just got off. Just got off a 4-day tour. The 4th day we couldn't do because the kid that we were with actually started getting sick to his stomach, like bad, like yesterday. Yesterday morning we were actually in New Hampshire and Manchester, and so it was Thursday Long Island, Friday Worcester, Saturday Manchester, Sunday, Connecticut, Bridgeport. That was what we were supposed to be last night. But I did those 3 days. I filmed shows. They had, C to B level artists, but the rock, like the last show that we did miss was headlined by Rakim.
Oh, nice.
It was like a rap legend.
Right.
Forefather, and Capadonna from the Wu-Tang Clan. So nice. I got to like also do like stuff for all the guys that were leading up to that. I'm not going to get into all their names and stuff, but all of them are like pretty notable to nicely to have on my catalog. So I filmed their show. I got to network and politic with the people that I went there to network, even some that I didn't mean to network and politic with. I ended up building with them as well. And, you know, I ended up just walking around with my camera in Manchester the other day. With it on like the gimbal. It looks like professional, and it is. It is because it is.
Yeah.
Like I had 3 people just pull over asking me, hey, you shoot music videos? Traded my Instagram with them. They've already hit me up and scheduled their music videos, and I gave them the rates, and they said, all right, cool. I gave them the link to my work, and they were like, fire, let's do it. So like,
nice.
It seems as if like, just as long as you like manifest and put out what you want to do, and you like really believe it, it happens.
Dude, that's fantastic. That is fantastic, man. Guys, listen, I totally forgot. Happy birthday.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, Leo. I appreciate
it. 7 minutes in, and I have it written down right at the top. Sorry.
No,
Happy birthday, my friend.
It's all right, man. Yesterday was my actual birthday, so I'm glad that I got to take the day and rest for today because I was looking forward to being on this show, simply because I've been a fan of your show for a long time.
You. I love doing the show, and I love having passionate people on the show. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And you have very engaging personality, so I mean, I can imagine how well it goes when you go and see a bunch of bands and you're shooting. I guarantee you don't have it. You don't have that problem meeting people and talking to people.
Right.
So
thank you, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome. How about you want to do fan questions, or you want to talk about wrestling first?
Why don't we get into wrestling first, then go to fan questions?
All right. So, were you a fan growing up?
Oh, always.
Always.
As far back as I can remember. I remember like the first time I came across it on TV. I feel like it was Bunkhouse Buck.
Wow.
And must have been like whoever his tag team partner with, maybe against like Squire Dave Taylor or something, like on like a WCW something on a Saturday morning though. I forget what it was that show was, but it was a TBS show.
I thought they did have a show on at like 10 or 11 o'clock on TBS Saturday morning.
I think they did.
I think so.
92, and like I think the Nasty Boys were in WCW at that point. So I remember like just at that point becoming a channel flipper and, you know, seeing WWF at that point, like the first Raw, I started becoming like addicted to wrestling. As soon as I started seeing like 93, so I came into WWF at the tail end of Hogan's career.
Okay.
That was kind of like WrestleMania 9 was like the first WrestleMania I really remember watching.
Okay.
WrestleMania 11, I went to the Fan Fest, but not the WrestleMania.
Yep.
Rolled with a 1, 2, 3 kid. I ate out of my popcorn. I got to pin my sister in the ring with Earl Hebner, like count to 3.
That's pretty cool.
I got a picture on the motorcycle with a Lunder Blaze. Like as a kid, that's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
And that really, really like changed my perspective on how like up close and personal and like realistic these dreams could be like a reality.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, my grandson, I took him to the UFC Fan Fest, and it was just an amazing experience. Just taking and he was just like 4 years old. So it was like the interactions I had just because I was with him too. You know, it was amazing.
Well,
all right.
When my parents took me to, I didn't even know it was a surprise. They didn't tell us we were going. Yeah. So
that's even better, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you told me off air that you loved ECW.
ECWs, it hit different for me.
Right. Okay.
Because it was like Renegade, you know, it wasn't supposed to be there type stuff.
Right.
Like I caught it on WUNI, channel 27, Worcester, Boston, you know, whatever. Like 1 a.m. And I just remember watching like the promos they had in between the matches, and they would use real music. And like it was just so Renegade, and like it just, the fact that it was on so late, and the fact that I was a young, impressionable teen, and then I'd go to these events. I begged my dad to go to one in November '96, if my memory serves me correctly. It was my first ECW event where the mass transit incident occurred.
You know Rich Palladino, right?
That's where I met Rich.
Well, that was his very first ECW show.
Rich and I have touched on that at one point at some of these past shows we worked at together. And do you want to know a quick funny story about that? Yeah. So when I would go to these ECW events at the Wonderland Greyhound Park, I was like 13, 14. And I actually was like content creation goes back for me further than I can remember, because I wrote an online wrestling newsletter on AOL. Like I'd go into these chat rooms and like just subscribe to my newsletter, give me an email, and I'll put it on a list. So I put out like, it was called like the Pro Wrestling Insider, something like that. Right. And I had like maybe 20, 25 or 30 issues that I would put out. And I remember that I would ask Rich, for some reason, he was the most approachable person at these shows.
Big time.
And I'm like, hey, Rich, I don't know why I call him by his first name. I didn't even know him at the time.
Right.
I said, hey, Rich, do you know any news backstage? What's going to happen soon? Like I was asking him for like these insider tidbits. And he's like, no, honestly, I have no idea. I thought you'd know. You're the fan. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I write a newsletter. And he's like, if you do, then bring me one at the next event. So for the next few months, every ECW, I'd literally, just for Rich, print out physical copies of my online newsletter, staple them together in order, and like bring them to Rich.
Nice.
And I was like, when I first came back into wrestling, Rich was there. And like to see Rich there, like my heart like felt like, all right, full circle. Yep. You know? And like, man, I was very proud of Rich and his progress right now, personally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me too. I've known Rich a long time. He's always been nothing but a class act. So did you attend any indie shows when you were younger?
Yes.
I know you told me off here, but I just think it's awesome, because not a lot of people, you would think almost everybody, but a lot of people never did.
So I would make it a habit, man. Right. I would go to as many wrestling shows as I could. I would go to Good Times Emporium a lot when Tony Rumble ran the Century Wrestling Alliance, turned into NWA New England. And I remember seeing guys like, Mike Hollow, Pink Assassin, Bull Montana, like all these guys.
Knuckles
Nelson, another one I saw in one of the recent episodes. What a great episode that was.
A lot of legends, man. A lot of New England legends.
That's actually where I first saw SWB wrestle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was on one of the last New England All-Star shows that we had. So.
Slick's amazing.
He's just like one of the the definition of like long-term strength, long-term strength and consistency that guy showed.
And another great guy that I've known for a long time, that's always just been a great guy.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
All right. So how did you get involved with NWA and New England All-Star Wrestling? Caleb's. Caleb Seltzer, right?
Shout out Caleb. Giving me an opportunity just to get involved firsthand. So I was out shooting a music video in Weymouth, and I had my camera with me, and I saw a guy putting up these really high-class looking like glossy flyers in the like Columbian Square in Weymouth. And I just walked up to this guy and I said, are these flyers, did you make these flyers? Is this your show? And he said, yeah. I said, dude, I'm like, I have a camera. I've loved wrestling my whole life. I'm like, let me help any way possible. You know what I mean? We exchanged numbers and it's been on since then. And it's just like, we became, close and, started really, he's helped me a lot, let's just say. He's really stuck his hand out to me, like, and giving me opportunity where I'm very grateful for. Being able to be like involved at the capacity I am. Because, as much as you know, when I first came in, people were like, oh, you know, not even people. I heard him tell me like, you're gonna hear bad things about me.
Right.
I'm like, let me judge this for myself. And
Yeah,
ever since I can see from like you know, the wrestlers' side sometimes.
Yep.
But you gotta give these guys a break, man. The wrestlers and the promoters, because everybody's doing so much to get ready and prepare themselves that it's hard to communicate the way you need to communicate.
Caleb's
sometimes.
a good guy, man. I don't know him well, but I only know, like, I know he's good friends with people that I think I know well, that are all class.
Nah, Caleb.
So he's always been nothing but great to me. I mean, seriously.
has shown and proved through his character to me that he is a stand-up guy and a class act.
And I got to get to an New England All-Star Wrestling show soon.
We got one coming up September 25th in Rockland, Mass.
Dude,
I know it's a trip for you, but I'm telling you, the way we put our shows on is like we try to differentiate ourselves from everybody else, especially production-wise.
Right.
So we get to stream Untitled Match. We get to do everything like I'm impressed when I look at the setup that we have, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
And everybody that's a part of it really just loves to do what they're doing there and be involved and play their role, which is the best part.
Right. Now, did you work, like Caleb at one time, I'm pretty sure was doing production for APW, Atlantic Pro Wrestling, right?
He did, and he brought me in at one of these.
Because that's where I met you.
Yes.
At the Atlantic Pro Wrestling show, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
That was actually a show Caleb wasn't at. So I worked like 2 or 3 previous shows with Caleb when he took over for maybe Derek when he wasn't there, right? And the atmosphere there, I was so blown away by the APW atmosphere because walking into an Elks Lodge or, you know, something like that, you don't expect the fans to be so rabid.
They were wild fans.
And I love it. It's giving me chills right now.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really love the atmosphere there.
It really is that
And I love what they've built over there. And I was actually asked to be a part of the camera crew this past weekend, but I had prior commitments with the tour that I was on. With
no, it's too bad I would have saw you.
I know. I was looking at the Facebook statuses, and I was just like, well, I'll tell him I wish I saw him when I'm at the show talking to him personally. But with APW, he did start. He was doing things for Ring of Honor as well.
Oh, cool.
He used to work for Ring of Honor, and I think that's where he really got his feet wet.
Right.
Like under. Like Jim Cornette gave him like a lot of insight and
I'm
stuff
a Cornette
like that.
guy.
You know, Kevin Kelly was a big guy to give him a helping hand, I believe.
Right.
But
that's awesome.
Let him tell those stories.
Oh yeah, definitely, Caleb. I definitely want to get you on the show someday. All right. So do you have any other like indie moments, like when you were as a kid, just like, you know, going to maybe one of Tony's shows or another that like maybe was somebody that you
one of my baseball
got to meet?
An inspiring thing for me to get involved with wrestling was like Chris Duffy. I don't know if you remember.
Gorgeous Chris Duffy. Oh, he's one of the best.
Man,
one of the greatest.
He's from Braintree, where I grew up.
Nice.
So he was another like Braintree High alumni. But the thing about him was he coached the Little League Baseball when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So I'd get to see him wrestling on TV against like Bret Hart and like whoever, Lex Luger and all these guys on Superstars or Challenge. And then go to baseball the next day and I'll be playing against him.
Wow. And
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I wish I was on his team. I'm like, these kids are so lucky and they don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
I would've
crazy.
been able to, so I had an idea at one point to do like a Chris Duffy like memorial show and stuff, like, because I think he deserves that.
Oh, dude, there's no doubt. He's still missed and loved by so many people in New England.
Yeah.
You know, I had one interaction with him, and I just think he's the coolest dude.
And being from Braintree, I feel like if I ever get to the point where I'm able to do something like that, I'm definitely going to.
Nice.
In his name, for sure.
That is awesome. All right, so listen, why don't you tell us about Smoke Screen Visuals?
Smoke Screen Visuals. All right, so it emanates from, so I like always made music. And, you know, truth be told, one of the kids that I made music with a lot and taught me a lot, I won't mention his name, but he's from Quincy, and he just did tons of work on that brand new Kanye West album that just came out yesterday. Like, he really taught me a lot. And I was always Shawn Smoke. I'm not going to say why it was Shawn Smoke, but I'll say one reason it was influenced is because of the movie Friday.
Okay.
Smokey
Yep.
in that movie, I just thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I watched that movie like as many times as a VHS could be
We all
watched.
got movies that we did that too. Yeah.
Fell
no,
asleep
but that
to it,
movie's
woke
so
up to
awesome.
it, man. I just and honestly, like the soundtrack to that movie, like the way the coloring is done in that movie, I just love.
That's great.
It always made me want to go to California. Like
Yeah.
my love for palm trees is very well fed within that movie. But Smokey, I had a bunny rabbit pet back in the day that I got from my parents. I named him Smokey.
Yeah.
Like, so I just adapted that. And my friend just started calling me Smoke. And I'm like, I like when letters go together. I'm gonna incorporate my first name, Shawn Smoke. So
Right.
then Shawn Smoke, when I got the camera, I was like, let me just keep some of the branding the same and the
Yep.
smoke the same, because I like you can do things with smoke visually and stuff like that. So I'm like, smoke screen visuals. The reason I have screen spelled S-K-R-E-E-N is because my initials, Shawn Kreckie.
Yep.
So
There you
screen,
go.
smoke screen visuals.
Right.
That started when I had started seeing associates of mine like at these shows that I would go to filming shows, because I used to be one of the rappers, and then when I saw so many kids come up, started rapping, I'm like, ugh, this isn't for me anymore. I'm like, the art is lost. I'm like, let me fall back for a little bit. So, but I still wanted to be involved.
Yep.
So when I finally got the camera and I learned that I needed to brand myself, and I'm like, all right, I can do this and incorporate like the online thing and everything. I'm like, Smokescreen Visuals has a name to it. It's kind of fun to say. Right. I'm like, I think it's the one to go with. And then I got my godmother to print me t-shirts like, in like 2017, 2018. And like the first like 100 pack that I got, like I just gave them all out to people. And my mom still rocks the shirt. Sometimes I'll be FaceTiming. I'm like, well, I wish I still had one of them. Yeah. I don't even have any left. I got to get some more. Probably update the design. But Smokescreen Visuals has had it's been around for about 5 years now.
Nice. Well, it does sound great.
It's cool.
No, seriously, it really does. It's not like, honestly, and it goes together. It just sounds really good.
I appreciate that.
No problem. Listen, we got 35 minutes. We can go back to wrestling if we finish all these fan questions. You got a lot.
Shoot.
So here's the first one from Laurie Grassi.
I know Laurie. Hi, Laurie.
All right. She's got a few. So what started you with wanting to work with wrestlers?
Being in love with the sport. Being in love with professional wrestling, period.
What's your favorite wrestling move? I like that. No one's really asked anybody that here. Thank you.
That's
awesome.
Good question. Now, I would have to say, I want to say the Kinshasa Shinsuke's finishing move. Yeah. It's not really a move, it's a finisher. Yeah. But I love Razor Ramon's belly to back. Over the top, that thing. Laurie put me on the spot with this one. How many? The Lariat is like one of my favorite.
Stan Hansen's Lariat of Bradshaw's.
I grew up seeing Bradshaw, but I always watched my history. And Stan Hansen's meaner. I can't lie.
No doubt. All right, she got one more. What is the most challenging part of working with this group?
Egos. Yep. Definitely.
That's just in general.
In
not
general.
Like work. Yeah.
Including my own. Like I'm no. Yeah. So.
You got to have some type of ego. I would imagine. I'm not. Because I'm not in the wrestling business. To be a wrestler, you would have to have. You would think you'd have to have a little bit at least. You
definitely need an ego, but it's all in balance. And if it's too big, if you overinflate it, you might pop and explode. So like, and it's not even just that. It's kind of that. It's like just people being on time, or like actually caring more about what they're doing, like. So like we want people to care as much as we care. Yep. And it's not always going to happen. It's not impossible because we've got some that do, and surprisingly, not all of them are from this area. Like a lot of them come from like the Monster Factory and stuff like that. Yeah. Or like but I'll say a couple guys I know that do really go the extra mile. I'll say Spencer Slade, even though he's not from around here, he's got a future. But from here, I like Alec Price.
Oh, big time. Big fan of him over here too.
I like his attitude about his going into like just a longevity type career. Like I just from my interactions with him, I think he's got something. JT Dunn is impressing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
JT Dunn's really impressing me, and I really want Teddy Goods to give it one more go.
I'm surprised he's not gone. Like seriously, got signed by NXT.
Me too.
Honestly, because he has everything they're looking for.
Yeah.
But back to like Alec Price, though, no doubt about it. And confidence that he gets. Do you know what I mean? Like he has, you know what I mean?
He can sell like anything.
Kid's really good,
and he might be like still on like the younger looking side, so you can't really main event him in like a real like legitimate tough guy angle against a Brock Lesnar type guy.
Not yet.
You could Zach Gowen him perhaps.
Yeah.
But like you don't have to even have that. You just put him in a division with guys.
Oh yeah, he could wrestle. He could wrestle. I saw him have a good match with Big Josh Briggs, and it was awesome.
Oh man,
it was. I mean, honestly, the kid has come a long way. Yeah. I can remember seeing him when he first started, and you could tell he just started.
Yeah.
But then I went to a UFO show.
Yep.
And he wrestled Betty Jukes. And earlier in the night, Chris Dickinson wrestled Brian Malonis. I said to my friend,
Malonis, another one.
Yeah, I said to my friend Daryl, I said, "Who's going to follow that?" 2 matches later, maybe it was the one right after. I don't remember. But Benny took on Alec.
No kidding.
And stole the show.
I believe that.
Stole the show.
I believe it.
It was incredible.
Don't let me forget Robo. George I think he's finally getting his notice. And I like Ilya. I think he's a sleeper. Like I just feel like he's a great generator of heat. One of the greatest generators of like legit heat. He can get good heat.
Nice.
When he cares enough.
Right. Now what about the big guy down there that I've only seen wrestle once? I think when I went to 1 or 2 New England All-Star shows. I don't think he was on the first one I went to. Paul Jourdain.
Interestingly, you asked that.
Yes.
So he is no longer a part of New England All-Star Wrestling.
Wow, okay.
Per his choice.
Yep.
I think I saw him participating with CZW not too long after.
Wow.
We were informed, that he wasn't going to make it like in a really short period of time before the show of our last show. It was kind of last minute. It threw us off, but we got through it. And I think it's for the betterment of everybody. I think that at the end of the day, he needed to move on and we needed to move on.
Right.
And I think it took him to be like, you know what, this run.
Yep. It's over.
Because you know what it is, though? He
had a good little run in New England All-Star
People don't
Wrestling.
realize about Jourdain. He was driving up from Maryland.
Right.
Every one of these shows.
Right.
Every single time Caleb asked him to do something, he was there.
Right.
And Caleb loved him.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
It was great, though, because I'm just saying, as a fan,
he was a great
people
champ.
Not from here. I love seeing
loved
that.
him. He would be the type of guy after the show to take his time with everybody that was there to see him.
Yeah.
There would be these guys who brought this guy who brought zebra cakes to every show for Jourdain.
Yeah.
And it was just a thing that they had that he had. Yeah. And then I got along great with him. I've reached out to him personally since that. I've not heard back. I think, and it's okay. I think everybody needs
sometimes.
And it's honestly like I gotta respect the chain of command as well. Like it's not really my place to speak on much more than that.
And I had no idea all of this happened.
But it has to be said. It's real. You know?
But because, like I said, he had a great run in New England All-Star Wrestling. And I love seeing when companies around here book somebody, from somewhere else. For instance, I didn't know that he was booked, but I guess Chase at Chaotic had booked Danny Moff. And something happened and he couldn't make the show. Well, I'm a huge Danny Moff fan.
Yeah,
me too. Since 2000, 2001.
Saw him
even
in
before he started wrestling
a lot. I watched him in ROH a lot.
Early ROH, Jersey All Pro. I got all the DVDs and stuff. You know what I mean? He's great when he's doing
tough
great.
Guy, brutal.
Big time. Loved his tag team with Steve Monster back.
Oh, man. Yeah, I believe that.
All right. So next up, Jack Kreckie.
That's my dad.
All right. What was the first wrestling show you attended? Did you tell us that already? I don't know.
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did.
I would think the first wrestling show I remember attending was Survivor Series 93.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My across the street neighbor had extra tickets because his sister got sick one day. It was like a Wednesday that year that they had the pay-per-view. It was like literally Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes, Thanksgiving Eve, yeah.
And I remember being upset that Shawn Michaels like had to replace Jerry Lawler. I think. But I didn't even care that much because I didn't care, honestly. Like later in life, I'm like, oh, we got robbed.
Right.
But the pageantry live there for me, like just to see the Undertaker with the American flag under the
Was
cape.
that his first appearance? That time, no.
What do you mean?
The Undertaker, like that wasn't his debut.
No,
Did
he had 91. He
Okay,
was
91.
I think. But he came out as a replacement for somebody, I think, too. No, the All Americans versus the Foreign Fanatic was that main event. I actually went to a couple like house shows too, but I didn't really do anything else besides WWF until WCW popped up, and then I became like old enough to start hitting all the shows that I could.
Right.
Yeah, so I would, take bus trips to Danbury, Connecticut, to Living Dangerously, like to see that by myself.
Right?
I didn't care. Like I was.
So you must have loved it when you knew they were coming around here.
Yeah.
I went. They had a show in Burlington. I went to that one show they had in Burlington.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. Some dude, I think, grabbed the belt or something, and the locker room went out. I was on the other side. I didn't even go outside, but everybody went outside.
Yeah.
There was a huge fight.
I believe,
But cops came.
Indie shows have wild stuff.
Yeah, that was ECW. Crazy.
Well, ECW, especially at Wonderland, to me was the most insane because you had such a compact area.
Yeah.
And it was Revere in the late 90s. And like the fact that like New Jack got away, not even New Jack, just Paul Heyman himself got away with these things at these shows where like just the blood, the guts, the show everything that was going on in these shows was so unique it was the atmosphere.
Right.
That was what it is.
Blood was shooting out like a bubbler at the school. You know what I mean? It was like unbelievable.
It was like, so I refer to it like when I describe it to people, like, when you're going over at school for the water bubbler and it comes out in an arch.
We're not kidding, guys. It's like insane. It's
literally
insane.
like that. I was scared for that.
I'm sure.
My father, actually, I got mad at him, but I understand why at this point. He's like, that's it, we're leaving. Because he saw the lady, he heard the father on the side. He's a dad.
He's only 17.
And my dad's a dad of a 13-year-old.
Dad was like, we're out of here.
He's like, we're out of here. I said, Dad, no, it's part of the show. I didn't know at this point. I knew New Jack was crazy.
Right.
But I didn't know that this was not a part of the show anymore.
Right.
So my dad knew though, and I was like, Dad, Raven's in the main event with the Sandman. How am I gonna miss it? I don't care. We're leaving. Let's go. It was
probably a good move, even though nothing did happen afterwards. Yeah. But he definitely made the right move, man.
For sure.
That is insane.
That was to be my first ECW too, though. But that left such an impression on me, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm like, anything can happen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, your dad's got a couple more. What is your most memorable wrestling moment?
Most memorable wrestling moment, I would say, there's when Mick Foley won the title at the Worcester Centrum.
Okay.
Was probably like one of the, the one time I went to the ECW arena was actually with my dad.
Okay.
And the Sandman made his surprise return to ECW.
Yes.
The one time I go to the arena, I had no idea he was going to be there.
Right.
And the lights go out. And my dad was a Sandman fan because I got him into ECW.
Was he doing the blind angle then? Like, was that why he wasn't there and he came back? Because remember when he's got blinded?
By like a fireball?
Yeah.
Yes. No, he had just came back from being a hardcore hack in WCW.
Gotcha.
So this was his first appearance since being hardcore hack after that year, whatever, 2-year run. And so like since the New Jack incident, I'd obviously transformed my dad into a bit of an ECW fan. He drove me down to the arena like 3 years after the New Jack incident. And he was right there next to me. But the Sandman making his return, Mick Foley winning the title at the Worcester, his first championship at the Worcester Centrum. I cried during that. That was crazy.
Nice.
And I was there for WrestleMania 14. I think the thing that they did in Boston before that when Mike Tyson was there. I got to skip school for that and everything. It was like a thing that people could do. Like it was like, hey, Mike Tyson, DX, Stone Cold, everybody's in Boston on a Thursday afternoon. Everyone's skipping school. Right. So those are the top ones that I can remember off the top of my head.
All right, cool. So that Lauren Brooks kind of wanted to ask that type of question too.
Sure.
So, Jack, yeah, I think he answered it with a few different people because they followed up like with where was it and who was involved. You
Gotcha.
pretty much did all that. All right. So next up we got, oh man, I always say it because I can't pronounce some names. Corey Babala.
Kai Balbuna.
Balbuna.
So hey, Corey, if I butcher it, you got it. You got it. You got to give me a diss track.
Buena?
Hey, Corey. Call him Corey.
Corey. All right, here we go. Corey. Thanks, man. Is he ever going to jump into the ring and start just dropping elbows on people?
Yeah, if I
he
ever
wants to get you killed.
If I ever want to lose my job. But that's always been my ultimate dream. But I don't, I'm at this point, I'm not looking to pursue an in-ring career unless it's going to be like as a manager or like, you know, like something like, I would love to be a manager.
Yeah.
Give a bump, take a bump here, there. I could do that, but
take a bump as a cameraman.
Hey, I don't rule anything out.
Right.
But I have like I'm 6'3", I'm 38. I had sciatica, I have scoliosis, I got like back issues. Right. So like they're fine right now,
but taking bumps after night after night,
and that would be fine. I wouldn't even get my back wouldn't get. It would be the next day when I sneeze. Gotcha. That's when my back will go out, and then I'll be out of commission for like a month and a half. With it gets bad. Yeah. So I'm going to just try and play it safe and do what I know how to do.
Nice. All right. Well, Corey wants to get you killed. No, I'm just kidding, Corey. Thanks. And he's got another question.
All right.
Do the wrestlers know you make music, and have any and will any of them end up using any of your songs as their theme music?
I don't.
That's a great question.
So one of my really goals is to be able to have not just like, even if it's not mine, like I make beats. I mean, I can make rock beats. I can make I can produce I am no Jim Johnston, but I could definitely do things like that. Yep. And know people who can do things way better than me like that and make it exclusive. I've always had the vision to make music, whether it's mine or not, but have it come from an organic place that is like a place where people I know can collect some kind of royalties, get paid off them, and get promoted through it, and have it perfectly fit the character. Yep. I would love to have the music that I'm involved with, not even just me, but anyone who's dope around here. Right. Just have the shine to be able to and some guys do that. Some guys have their friends make their theme music, and that's a smart move because you can own that. Yes. But I don't know if they don't make music. I know they know I make music videos. I did do a music video for George O. Like, we met my buddy Brian, even though he's not an artist himself, in the term of making music, he's definitely an artist in the ring. But he had a buddy where he's from India. Yep. And they had a song and they wanted to do a video for it, and we went out to New York. They brought out the Range Rovers, the Bentleys. We were they treated us so good. Just like, any video production team that brings out the whole kit and caboodle for you should be. We were eating at a golden edged table inside this mansion in I forget the name of it in New York, but it was very nice. It was like a whole day shoot. Nice. Robo got worked. Yeah. Not worked like ribbed, but I remember my buddy Brian, we had to shoot a scene where Robo was running at night, and we attached this GoPro to him, and he had to run this 1 to 100 meter dash type deal in the middle of the street. And I think Brian made him do it a couple extra times. But he's in great shape. I'm sure he had no problem doing it. But it was awesome. And that is cool. We got to bond. We got to and everybody got taken care of. It was the best experience so far with music and wrestling intertwining. That was the first experience of wrestling and music intertwining, and now I would love to be able to help anybody. I know there are rappers, wrestlers who rap, and I know there are rappers who love wrestling. Oh yeah, definitely. They go hand in hand, and just like rock does. Right. But nowadays it's rap is more the mainstream. Yep. It's more mainstream than it ever was, probably. Unfortunately for the true hip hop heads, yes. Right. But with that being said, it's gonna be to answer Corey's question, my goal is yes, to eventually get the music. Yeah, guys, you're looking for music. Check it out, guys. Honestly. Yeah, I have, very talented producer friends
Right.
who have like, industry credits
Yep.
And stuff like that. So like, it's just a very easily attainable thing for me to do at the very highest level.
Yep.
And it's just like something I can get done naturally, even if I'm just making it happen.
Right. That's awesome. I know for a fact that congratulations to Carmelo Hayes, the NXT breakout star.
I called it.
Christian Casanova. He used his partner in Killing Over Inc., Royce Bishop. He did his theme song for Christian.
See, he knows what to do. I've known since I started crossing paths with Christian at shows, Carmelo, excuse me, that he knew what it took.
Right.
I could tell that he was going to make it. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I was like, this kid's got to do it.
I think the pandemic, right? Like it hurt some people, like their momentum. It looked to me, and I didn't ask him this because I haven't seen him or nothing, but other than being on TV and stuff, I think he put 20 pounds of muscle on.
At least.
You know what I mean? It looked it. You could see that COVID didn't stop his growth.
I think COVID, depending on an individual's perspective, was either the biggest curse or the biggest blessing.
Yeah.
That you could have had.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's a little bit of both, but I definitely consider it more of a blessing because I was gifted the opportunity to work on my own craft more and not have to worry about feeling like I'm missing out on all this stuff because no one was doing anything. That FOMO they talk, fear of missing out, like I have that sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes. But yeah, I shout out Christian Casanova, Carmelo Hayes. He's definitely has there's no limits to his potential.
No doubt.
At all.
Isn't it awesome?
I'm very excited about his future.
I told the people that I'm close to that know how much I love about independent wrestling. I had to let everybody know that he made it and he won the tournament.
Oh yeah, I tell people too. I'm like, hey, I used to film him and hang him. I'm like, yeah.
I said I watched him all the time. He's incredible. All right, Setsei Zoo.
Seti Zoo.
Seti Zoo.
Shout out Seti.
All right, thank you for the question. What type of growth have you seen within yourself since you began working in film and photography? That's a fantastic question, man.
Oh man, I got a lot of love for Seti. Seti, good question. So here's what happened. I got a camera. I got gifted opportunities, or I worked for these opportunities where like I say I got gifted because I feel blessed. But these opportunities that arose that I worked hard for, that happened, that I took advantage of, to make happen.
Right.
Like led me to these places where I had kind of spiritual awakenings and senses. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm not the same Shawn that even started Smoke Screen Visuals in 2016 at all.
Right.
My perspective on things has greatly changed in the sense of I'm a positive outlook guy. Like I'm even careful with certain words I use because I feel like words are energies. Words are energy. They and I'm an etymologist at the core. I try to get to the core of why is this word and where did it come from? I try to figure out
drive
these things
yourself
out.
crazy.
A little bit. Yeah. But that's why I like to stay busy, so I don't get too deep into that stuff.
There you go.
But I've definitely seen the growth is me being able to work with more types of being more comfortable with myself and being more confident in my skills and being able to know what I am good at and not be able to not waste people's time. Get right to the point and try to just learn. I've learned to just make the most of your time and the opportunity. When before I was kind of just passive. I'm more aggressive now.
Nice.
And going about my goals and everything like that.
That's really good though, because I have issues with that, just concentrating and stuff like that, really bad. I'm just saying that's what I have issues with.
Yes.
All right, so listen, Evan Burrow.
Evan Burrow.
Yeah.
Evan.
Burrow. Yeah.
Evan, shout out Evan.
All right.
I know Evan.
What made you fall in love with filming?
The fact that I could film something the way I knew it needed to be filmed.
Yeah.
Or I'd have the opportunity to film something the way I needed it to be filmed, and it can live forever. To me, when I can film things properly, when I'm on my game, which is 99.9% of the time, I'm still working on that 0.1% because I'm not perfect. I don't think I ever will be.
Right.
I know I'll never will be. The thing is, I like to make what I see in real life and what I feel in real life translate as good as I can through the camera, so the viewer feels what I feel and feels what they're supposed to feel through the screen. Because if the energy, like I've done a lot of videos with this one artist, and there's a lot of them that haven't come out because our energy wasn't like on the same page.
Needs to be.
Exactly, and it showed. You could tell watching it.
Right.
So like, you know, these are the things you grow and you learn with. But I just feel as if like, you know, every day is a learning process.
Right.
And like, I know that I know nothing. I just do what I feel I am going to be good at.
Right.
And I try to excel at that the most as possible and learn as much as I can.
That's good. But like I said, man, you in meeting people, you have no problem with that. You have the perfect personality for that. You
Thank
know?
you.
You're welcome. I think Lauren Brooks, yes. Who was your biggest motivation to put your dreams into action?
I want to say my niece, my
Yeah.
goddaughter. Yeah. Savannah Mae Brooks. That's actually, so Lauren, so a lot of these people are my family and friends.
That's good.
So Lauren's my sister. I wouldn't even, but Lauren had Savannah Mae Brooks, her daughter, my goddaughter, my niece, in 2016.
Nice.
In November of 2016. And I wasn't doing the best in life at that point. I had gone, you know, I've had my ups and downs.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was in like a lull right before, like when she was on the way though, when she was pregnant, I found out my sister was about to be pregnant. A lot of things came into perspective.
Right. That's good.
And that's also right around the time when 2016, that's around the time, 2017, right around then is when I started Smoking Visuals too and just got the camera. So I had just got the camera. I knew my niece was about to be born, and I was like, listen, I'm like, there's no turning back. Now I have to be a good uncle. I'm like, I'm not a dad. I'm like, I've had my opportunities to be a dad, and I guess right now it's just not in the cards. Yeah. And I'm gonna take full advantage of my time here, doing as much as I can. But seeing my niece be born and knowing that I got so much love for her, and it comes right back. Like, it's a very special relationship and bond that I have with her. And I knew from day one that it would be like that. And when I saw her be born, I'm like, I don't want to disappoint her.
Nice.
And, you know, I'm sure any parent could like say that about their kid or whatever. Now, she's not my kid. She's my niece or my goddaughter. But I'll tell you what, I love her and my nephew, Dylan, who's now just over he's about 1 year and 2 months now. He's walking, and you can tell he wants to be a wrestler already, because my sister will send me videos and he's like just in his diapers waddling around, but there's like a little mattress, and he's just like, boom, he's literally throwing himself, taking bumps, one after another. I'm like, and Savannah also saw her dad watches wrestling. So her dad had on Royal Rumble 95 on probably the network, and she just caught it on the screen, and she said, Daddy, to my sister's husband, Derek, she said, Daddy, is that a bouncy pool? She called the ring a bouncy pool.
Wow, yeah.
Pretty good description, right? And
definitely.
So ever since then, I was like, it's in the blood. It's in the blood, you know? And so my family has been my greatest inspiration, because through all the bad that I've done and the good that I've done, because like I said, like my 20s were rough. They were always there for me. They like never turned their back on me, and they showed me unconditional love. Yep. And that has a lasting effect, and it's a lot better than if someone were to turn a cold shoulder and you don't feel like anyone cares when you're at your lowest. Yeah. And when the people who you hurt the most care the most after you hurt them, that's how you know that you need to treat these people right.
I've been there. I absolutely agree with you 100%. Frost God, Little Frost. Little Frost would like to know what inspired you to pick up a camera.
What inspired me to pick up a camera? I kind of, just like I said, I want to. So here's another thing. Like when I used to read wrestling magazines, I would just collect wrestling magazines left and right, all of them that I could.
I was a magazine kid.
Had pictures on my wall everywhere, cut out the good ones and post them up. And I just see like how I'm like, I want to take those pictures. I'm like, if I can't be one of those guys, I want to take those pictures. And like, I'd see the guys at the ring, like, you know how back in the day, they definitely had like more cameramen at ringside.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, they have like the Japanese press and everything and stuff like that. And I'm like, I guess, I don't know how you do that, how you get there.
Right.
But
Jim Cornette used to just go shoot at ringside when he was a teenager.
Paul Heyman, same thing.
Yep. Became best, like really good friends with Freddie Blassie. All three of them, but Blassie the most.
Incredible, right?
Yeah,
they just knew at a young age that they needed to follow this. That was their calling.
But I loved your answer, and with your niece and stuff. I'm a father. I got 3 kids. They're all adults now. You know what I mean? But I love my nieces and nephews now have kids, and I love all them too. You know?
Oh yeah.
But definitely. All right. So where do you see yourself in 5 years with your film career? Again, from Little Frost.
Good questions, Frosty. I'll say this: in 5 years, I'd like to be making like movies. I'm sure any, you know, aspiring film person that takes it serious would like have the same kind of goals.
Right.
But like either music videos that look like movies or movies.
Right.
And if not, I actually am like a really like big advocate of like, I want to put together like a lot of documentary like things on things that I care about, because I feel like I can shed light on things that other people can't. And I also have like an in to a lot of different realms of this world that for some reason I'm just welcome to float to whatever, be a fly on the wall and observe, or to interact in all types of in all types of scenarios and circumstances. And to me, like, I'm able to, with a documentary, turn that documentary into a movie, and that way you can not just entertain people, but you can have a good message at the end and try to help you. My main thing is I just want to help people. And whether it be helping them look like superstars on camera, or helping them have like a better life because of this documentary that I've really thought about in 2014. I wanted to document like Quincy Center and the stuff that was really going on down there, which wasn't pretty, but they've cleaned it up since then.
They have?
Very much so.
Good.
And unfortunately, I think they moved it all to Mass Ave in Boston. But even that, like, it's just about like mainly the drug problem that's in the area. Like I really want to shine a light on things.
That's good.
Instead of, you know, throw cast shade, because people can't and shouldn't be judged.
No, absolutely not. Judges the only ones. Judges are God. Right?
That's the bottom line. Yes, sir.
All right. So where you grew up from, do you know George Carroll?
Slane?
George Carroll Jr. He's from like down your area. He works now for NXT. I was just curious. So you never met George?
No, I know another guy named George Carroll.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, the rapper Slane. I don't know him personally, but
it definitely isn't that guy. I don't know him.
He was in the movies, The Town.
Oh, okay.
He was
that was a great movie.
He was in that. But no, George, I'm better with faces.
Right. He used to wrestle years ago, and then he got out of it. Then he promoted for a while, and then he just worked his way up, man. Like he worked for a while. Sorry, George. I'm just telling you a story. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
But his mom just passed away again, George. So sorry. He worked for New Japan as their American ambassador. When they would do their shows in California. Remember a couple years ago?
Yes.
So George was part of that. I want to say he worked for ROH a little bit.
Okay.
Then he went to work for MLW.
An ambassador, you said?
Yeah. And then like all behind, everything's behind the scenes somehow, right? And now he's at NXT.
That's awesome. And you said he's from where?
He's from Quincy, Braintree, Dorchester.
See, if I see his face, and if I do know George, like, please forgive me.
Right.
Like I said, I just was on
great. He really is a great guy.
Just was on this tour, like in the last 3 or 4 days, like, and I had 4 hours.
The guys that you know, and you're thinking, like, you might have even already met him, because I'm pretty sure Caleb, those guys really like each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. And Caleb,
I really
Caleb's
do
got a
think
lot of
they
smart
do.
friends.
Right.
Caleb's got a lot of smart friends that are really technically sound.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I'm learning my way more around the technical side. Like I said, I'm more vigilante. Like when I film my stuff, like I'm not the guy who has been known to set up like a whole scene for a shot. Like I know how to do it.
Right.
But I don't like prefer to do it. I like what I feel is in the moment. Like if I was to shoot a video right now and you were like rapping per se, I'm gonna come in with the Ronin and you start, I'm gonna match your energy.
Right.
I'm gonna match your energy. And then we'll do like a couple stabilized shots. You feel me? Like on the tripod or whatever, get some B-roll footage and mix it together. But I don't like to follow the guidelines that have been put in place because it's not like I want to break rules. It's more like I want to create my own lane and play within those rules without bothering anyone else's thing, because that way I can put a stamp in the game, like with my imprint, and say like, look, he was original. He didn't really cross any lines to hurt people or like, you know, offend anybody in the sense of how he worked or whatever he was doing. Right. And he was just the guy who did it the way he knew how to do it, the best way he knew how to do it. And he put his whole heart and his whole passion and his whole energy into it. Yep. And that's what I like to resonate throughout, whether it's when I'm working backstage at the New England All-Star Wrestling Show, whether I'm working with, you know, whoever it is musically, or whether I'm on the street helping an old lady, like open the door for her at a store, it doesn't matter. Like, I am who I am. And we are. Yo, Leo, I just appreciate you, man.
Dude, I'm so happy to have you on the show. You're definitely going to do it again. We didn't even, like, there's still so many fan questions. Maybe you could look at them, you know what I mean? On Facebook after. Because these people are obviously your fans of people that love you, or they wouldn't have asked questions, you know?
Appreciate it.
No, I'm happy to have you on. You know, I'm glad you stopped. You really made me feel good. I mean, that day, what you said to me.
I was on, you know, I remember when that was, it was APW. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's Leo. Yep. I told Leo before the show started, I'm like, Leo, man, I'm a YouTube head. I watch a lot of YouTube. And when I came across your stuff, I was just like, everything about this is organic. I'm like, I can feel his passion. I can feel, like, in the way you talk, man, it just gets me. I don't know what it is, but it gets me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And I could show him my YouTube history, man. There's like 80% of your 226, what is it?
This is 226, episode 226.
So out of the 225 episodes, there's at least like 190 that have been watched fully or semi-watched. Nice. And like that's whether I like fall asleep with it on, because it's like, just like I love to hear you guys, just to hear what's going on and how people learn and how people
I appreciate that very much. I really do.
You do good over here, man. I want to see you do another 225.
All right, we're going to do it. Leo. Guys, we're out. We're going to do this again.
Hey.
Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.